Hello, it is me, Saul of Saul Art, and welcome back to the final episode of the Proko Anatomy 30-day challenge, which I have now, if you can believe it, completed. Now, what is the Proko Anatomy 30-day challenge, you ask? Well, my dear viewer, if you haven't heard, the Proko Anatomy 30-day challenge is a challenge wherein I attempt to complete all of artist and educator Stan Prokopenko's artistic anatomy course within 1 month. As you might have imagined, this is quite a lot of drawing, and a lot of drawing I have done. We started exactly 1 month ago on July 8th, wearing this exact same car seat headrest shirt. I promised you that I was going to complete the Proko Anatomy course within 30 days, which is a promise I believe that I have kept. Now, some obstacles have gotten in the way. For instance, I was in a literal near-fatal car accident. I also was hospitalized with COVID. So there were definitely some obstacles, but don't worry, on Saul Art, obstacles mean nothing. Just kidding. I should clarify, it's important to rest. I rested, I took some time off. You know, sometimes you can have too much of a Sigma grind set. You know what I mean? But yeah, the challenge is finally finished after all these days. And for me, the challenge finished with an intensive study of the calves and the feet. Now, I feel like I say this every episode. There's some naysayers out there which say, Saul, this is a bad way to learn how to draw because you're really ingraining bad habits, you know? You're not fully absorbing the lesson. And listen, I understand this critique. However, in the interest of transparency, I should say, obviously I cannot perfectly execute Dear Stan's entire Proko Anatomy course perfectly within a month. And these final assignments are kind of an example of that. They required some advanced shading and rendering, which I couldn't really finish on time. You know, I just did a little bit of shading, some indications here and there, just due to the constraints of the challenge. Obviously, when I come back to these assignments, filled to the brim with luxuriant free time, I will put in these renderings adequately. I'm getting ahead of the angry comments if ever there are some. So that being said, I'm going to talk about the final 2 assignments, these calves and these feet. And I think there was another assignment in there. And of course, I only show some of my assignments in these videos, like the ones that I think look the best. But if you don't believe me, you can go to proko.com, the link is in the description, and you can see my assignments folder where I post every one of my assignments. You can check them out, look at them in detail. You can laugh at them with your friends, make fun of my midness or what have you. Now hold on, before you unsubscribe, there is a final piece to this Proko Anatomy challenge which has not been done. And that, my friends, is the final anatomy demo, which is kind of an epilogue in the anatomy course, which is like a 3-hour video of Proko doing an anatomy demo, which kind of lays in all the pieces. I didn't take this to be a part of the main course or the main challenge. However, I do want to do this epilogue. A few people have commented that it would be cool to see me kind of test my skills against a kind of bigger project. So stick around. In a little while, I'm going to upload my attempt at the final anatomy demo, and you can see if I learned anything or if I didn't learn anything, but that's for another day. Let's get into these assignments. So the first assignment was for the calves. So the calves are a super fun muscle to draw. Again, kind of like hamstrings, they have a bicep type quality to them. These two kind of really quite visible, squared off muscles, really obvious, you can see them all the time. And so it was great getting some clarification on those and like kind of blocking them in and what have you. This assignment called for some more advanced shading, and to be perfectly transparent, I'm genuinely terrible at shading. Tune in for the I Learn Shading in a Week Saul Art Bootcamp. It'll be epic. So as you can see, definitely a weakness, but I tried my best to be true to the anatomy. The feet too, I mean the feet, because they're so much a combination of like fat and muscle and skeleton and stuff, you're not really doing like advanced anatomical drawings of the feet or anything. The assignment for this week really was to try to block them in and use your knowledge of anatomy and use your knowledge of the skeleton and the muscles and stuff to create like a better rendering of the feet than you would have normally. And obviously, as I say, the rendering is not so great with me, but I'm pretty happy with these quick sketches. I feel like I try to take structure into account and like structure them nicely. And I have to say, obviously the other people who do these assignments are like way better than me. I said it before. But sometimes on Proko, I'll like scroll down and see other people's assignments, and they're like genius level artists, and I'm like, oh my god. But you know, it's not a competition. It's not a competition, Saul. And these feet, I feel like maybe might be mid to bad overall, but I think they're probably the best feet I've drawn. I'm happy about them. And overall, it felt great to finish everything. Oh, I just remembered there was another assignment in there, which I think is just called lower leg muscles, which we're kind of looking at the various muscles and tendons which reach down to the lower leg. I think these were fine, nothing crazy about them. And yeah, around a few hours ago with that today, on August the 8th, I finished my Proko Anatomy challenge. Now, to be honest with you, when I started this challenge, I didn't totally expect to complete it. It was obviously quite ambitious, and as I think I said in the first episode, I came up with it in a kind of delirious, half-dream state, and I thought this would be interesting, and I thought making these videos would be a good way to keep myself accountable. I'm the type of person, I work quite well with deadlines, and so giving myself a deadline at the end of every day was like a great incentive. So yeah, I kind of recommend doing this type of thing if you want, if it's helpful. For me it is, because it allowed me to do a more long-term project, but broken up in shorter chunks, if that makes sense. And that's where I have to give a huge thank you to you guys, my audience, for tuning in and watching all the videos. So kind of you, you didn't have to. And definitely you guys helped me really commit to the project. When the project started, the channel had 0 subscribers. These are my first videos, and now we're at like 510 subscribers within a month. Crazy! What? I also want to say thank you for all of your generous comments and feedback and telling your art progress stories. I think that's so awesome. And really, my goal for this channel, looking forward, is to be a kind of artwork improvement center. It's the kind of channel that I search for, but that I don't often find. I'm not like a developed artist by any means. I'm not a professional, and I'm kind of old, you know? I'm like 23 now. Holy moly, old man. And so I'm hoping this channel could be maybe helpful or kind of clarifying to people who also want to learn art, maybe who are getting into it a little later, you know, outside of art school or outside of maybe a more straightforward path towards art, and we can kind of learn together. So the next thing I want to do on this channel, not to spoil, is I want to learn how to do portrait drawing, because my anatomy, I feel like, has been brought up to snuff. I feel a lot more confident, but I'd love to do something similar for the head, because my faces suck, my eyes are never symmetrical, my noses are flat, and my lips look like paper, both in real life and in my drawings. So yeah, if you are interested in this kind of drawing adventure, I feel like we're just getting started. I have a lot of plans and schemes to like try to max up my art level from here. If you guys are interested in following along, that would be awesome. I'm also open to suggestions. Please leave a comment saying any ideas for the channel. I would really love to hear your feedback, and I think together we can make a cool art space thing. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for this video, but please, I implore you, join me for the epic epilogue of the series, where I'm going to be doing a big anatomy demo and trying to lay in all the things in such a way. I can't give an exact date on when that'll come out. I've kind of been completely consumed by this challenge for a month, so I have to, like, you know, pay my bills and figure out where I'm gonna live and go to school and, you know, these types of unimportant trivialities, you know. But yeah, it's been a super fun challenge. I'm so happy that you guys have come along. Thank you so much for watching. And now I feel like, looking back to the first episode, I'm just slightly less mid than when I started out. Awesome. Alright, I'll see you guys in the next one. Okay, bye!